Let's go to the United States now, where elections have been held in several states and cities. It's the first major round of voting since the election that kept President Barack Obama in office a year ago. In Virginia, Democrat Terry McAuliffe has won the governor's race, and in New Jersey, Republican Christie has been elected. Meanwhile, mayoral elections have been held in Detroit, which is going through the largest municipal bankruptcy in U.S. history. In Boston, where the incumbent isn't seeking re-election after more than 2 decades in office, and New York, where the Democrats have won for the first time since 1993. These are live pictures now from New York, where, as we just mentioned, Democrat Bill de Blasio has been elected. Let's go to our correspondent Patty Culhane now, who's joining us live from Washington, D.C. Patty, talk us through the results so far. How are they looking?
Well, everybody's going to be looking to see what this means for the next election, because that's how politics works in America. And so far, it does look like it's pretty evenly split. But if you look into the results, there's probably a deeper meaning. First, let's talk about New York, where you just saw that Bill de Blasio is getting ready to take the stage. He's a Democrat, the first one since 1989 to win for the biggest city in the country. Now, I don't know if this is as much a reflection on party. It probably says more about where the electorate is in New York. For the last couple of decades, what the voters have said they care most about is, first, they cared about crime. Then, after the 9/11 attacks, they said they cared about security. That tended to favor the Republicans. But remember, the current mayor, Michael Bloomberg, was a Democrat, a Republican, and an independent. So he didn't really affiliate too much with one party, although he was elected as a Republican. He was sort of definitely down the middle. So de Blasio winning, I think, says more that the voters care about what he ran on, which is trying to make a more fair system in New York. They care about his progressive agenda, trying to help the poorest, because they're saying that New York is really now basically fractured into 2 cities, the haves and the have-nots. Now, the other race that people are talking about is Governor Christie, a resounding win in New Jersey. That was widely expected. In fact, the Democrats didn't really put up much of a fight there because he was and is so popular in that state that was so hard hit after Hurricane or Superstorm Sandy. But the really interesting race here is Virginia, and this is why. Both of these candidates, neither of them all that popular, but this was really about the Tea Party. The Tea Party is the most conservative wing of the Republican Party. Their candidate, Ken Cuccinelli, the Attorney General, he embraced that label. He stood for everything that the Tea Party said was important to them, stopping the president's health care plan and being willing to shut down the government if that was something that they believed in. Now, it was widely seen going into the vote that he was going to lose pretty big. He hasn't. Now, it looks like people are saying right now that Terry McAuliffe, the Democrat, again, not too popular, that he has won, but if he has won, it will be by the narrowest of margins. So that is telling.
So, Patty, apart from how these wins bode for the Republicans and the Democrats, are they important otherwise? What's the significance of these elections apart from that?
Exactly. You might be sitting across the globe going, why do I care who's the governor of Virginia or New Jersey? They don't set foreign policy. What this goes to the heart of is there is a war within the Republican Party right now. What is the party going to stand for? Is it going to be the obstructionist wing, the Tea Party wing, or the group that is tied more towards business, that worries about tax policies, focuses less on social issues like abortion and gay marriage? That is what is being fought out right now in the ballot box. And here's why it matters across the globe. This is a 2-party system. If the Republican Party cannot figure out what it stands for or how it operates, then it's unlikely the federal government is going to work. That does have an impact on the globe. What we are seeing in these races, especially in one congressional race in Mobile, Alabama, I traveled down south last week just to see for myself, what we're seeing is the traditional Republican base, corporations pouring a lot of money into their candidate, and they're fighting with the grassroots supporters. These are the true believers of the Tea Party. So the question is, which is more powerful, the establishment, the money, or the grassroots? And how these elections turn out, it sends a message to the sitting members of Congress. It either makes them afraid to cross the Tea Party, or it makes them afraid of the establishment. So this is very important in politics, because politicians are always looking towards the next election, and the sitting members of Congress are going to take lessons from what we found out today. And looking at the stage we see right there, that's Governor Christie. He was looking for a very big win in New Jersey, and this has implications towards 2020. 2016, although we don't like to talk about that because it's so far away. He's widely seen as a potential presidential candidate in 2016. He was considered for Mitt Romney's vice presidential candidate in the last election. He is outspoken. He is incredibly conservative, but he's blunt, and the people of New Jersey seem to like that. He's resonating with the American public as well because they like that straight talk. But at the same time, he is conservative, but he doesn't necessarily talk consistently about his conservative principles. So let's listen to what Governor Christie has to say from New Jersey.
Well. How about this, New Jersey? Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, I stand here as your governor, and I am so proud to be your governor. Born in Newark, raised in Livingston. Made my wife from Pennsylvania a real Jersey girl. And raised our family right here in this amazing state. I love just as much as my mother and father raised me to love it. You see, what people have never understood about us is that I didn't need the introduction to all of you. I know you because I'm one of you. So tonight, first and foremost, I want to say thank you, New Jersey, for making me the luckiest guy in the world. And the only greatest honor and privilege than being a one-term governor of New Jersey is to be a two-term governor of New Jersey.
Patty, a very emphatic Christie there.
Yeah, exactly. He's saying basically what you always hear from these politicians when they won. What we're going to be looking for is the final vote totals, because remember, New Jersey tends to be a Democratic state. He's a Republican governor who would have, looks like, absolutely trounced his opponent. And we'll be looking to see the numbers because he did do well with Democrats. He did incredibly well with independents and, of course, Republicans. That's going to be the question for the Republican Party. What kind of candidate do they want to put up to go against the expected Democratic nominee, whether it be Vice President Joe Biden, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton? What kind of Republican can win? And that is the question that is facing all of the Republican leaders across the country. Is it the Chris Christie, who is conservative but doesn't necessarily talk at the forefront about the social issues? He is definitely against any kind of abortion, but he doesn't necessarily start the conversation by talking about that. He doesn't talk about obstructionist policies. He is blunt, and the question becomes, what kind of Republican can win? Can he win in the primary? Could the person who wins the primary actually then win the general election? Now, I've talked to a lot of political analysts. They don't necessarily think the civil war within the Republican Party is going to be solved in this race or even the next one. It may be 2016. But again, the reason why this matters to the globe is because in a two-party system, and no third-party candidate appears on the horizon anytime soon, for a two-party system to work, for the government to work when the parties hold different seats of power, they have to know exactly what kind of party they want to be. I don't know if this election, even with the huge win from Chris Christie and the very slim win by the Democrat in Virginia, I don't think that that actually settles it. It may send a message to Congress that the electorate is divided.
Thank you very much for that, Patty. That's Patty Culhane joining us from Washington, D.C.